Hello, I'm Jane Dutton with a wrap of the week's news.
This is Eyewitness News.
The extent of South Africa's brutal underworld has been opened up to us. We heard that 9 police officers are implicated in the murder of slain top cop Charles Kinnear. This came after Independent Police Investigative Directorate declassified a top-secret investigation report into his murder. Kinnear, who was head of detectives in the province, was shot dead outside his Bishop Laver's home in September 2020.
I came in personal capacity and not to ask questions. That's why I didn't ask any questions. But us as a family, how do you expect us to read or hear on the news for stuff that we've been asking and begging for the past 4 years? And then still have the audacity to say you're going to do it afterwards? I can tell publicly I refuse to have a meeting with IPID.
In that world, trust no one. One of the men linked to the murder of alleged Underworld boss Mark Liffman works for a private security company which Liffman was the director. 37-year-old Gert Johannes Bezuidenhout is reportedly a manager at Professional Protection Alternatives. His co-accused, 53-year-old Johannes Hendrik Jacobs, is a former police special task force member. They are both charged with Liffman's premeditated murder in George on Sunday. The Western Cape High Court has given alleged Jerome Donkey Boersen and Andre Nordier 1 week to mourn the murder of their friend Mark. The accused's lawyer, Advocate Amanda Nell, asked the court for a 2-week postponement. She told the court she needs time to relocate as she fears for her life after Liffman's murder.
My lord, it is regarding my housing, where I would be located, etc. The preparation of, obviously, the rest of the matter, without the network that we had, the protection, etc., etc.
There's been extreme violence on our borders, and that's led to the closure of the Mbombela border crossing. South Africans are being cautioned to postpone any travel to Mozambique following civil unrest in parts of the country. Widespread protests erupted last week following allegations that the country's presidential elections were rigged. This after the Frelimo party, which has ruled the country since 1975, retained power with a 71% majority vote.
Well, behind me is the border gate at the Limpopo border post here in Mpumalanga. On the other side of this gate is Mozambique, and you can see that there are 2 vehicles or 3 vehicles, which were custom vehicles from the Mozambican side that were torched by protesters due to political unrest in the country, which has been running for a week now, and there seems to be no end in sight. It's concerning for a lot of people. And there was talks that protesters were edging their way closer towards the Mozambican side of the border, not specifically South Africa, which prompted South African authorities to close this border gate today after they had opened it this morning. And the reason for them wanting to open it was to allow trucks to get from South Africa, which are ferrying coal and chrome, to the port of Maputo, which is a key economic strategic point for both South Africa and Maputo, given the fact that they export these items out of the country into the likes of Asia. Right now, there is no end in sight for this protest. And we do know that the likes of SADC are going to convene to try and determine a way forward and a solution to the civil unrest that has swept across parts of Mozambique. For Eyewitness News, I'm Arun Singh, reporting from the Limpopo border post.
The EFF continues to hemorrhage top players. Today, it's former EFF National Chair Dali Mpofu's turn. He's quit the Red Berets to join the MK party. Mpofu admits he hasn't told EFF leader Julius Malema about his move.
My relationship with him is, apart from what has happened now, is exactly the same. And we occasionally have discussions about political developments and so on. So I expect that to continue. If it continues, it will be well and good. Yeah. If it doesn't, that's also good.
Dali is not only proposing it, he has written it down. He has had time to think about it and wrote it down.
In Amsterdam, police are investigating reports of a possible hostage situation following clashes that erupted after a football match. Well, Well, there's been no confirmation this actually took place. Authorities say they've been receiving various reports of this. It's understood violence flared after a game between Maccabi Tel Aviv and Ajax, which won 5-0. 5 people were injured in the clashes and 62 people have been arrested. The world walks into the big unknown with Donald Trump soon to be back in the Oval Office. His return is expected to cause a shake-up in the global economy and politics. It'll be easier for him to do what he wants, as the Republicans have also taken control of the Senate. Trump secured his second term as president following a decisive win against Democrat Kamala Harris in the US elections.
In his previous administration, Donald Trump's domestic and foreign policy positions largely put the US first. What made him even less popular were threats to reduce funding for international bodies such as the World Health Organization, the NATO Security Alliance, and similar arrangements. In addition to potential disruptions to alliances, political analyst Gidiboni Paho believes Trump's presidency could also pose a political and economic challenge for South Africa.
But having said that, we are not going to abandon our relations within the BRICS, because it's a very important bloc that seeks to support the emerging economies.
While walking a tightrope of international alliances, Paho has called on SA leaders to exercise diplomatic maturity. Nogukhanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News.
We also saw a sea of orange at the Voortrekker Monument in Pretoria on Tuesday. Thousands of people were protesting the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act. Lobby group AfriForum says stopping the Bella Act is the biggest issue for the Afrikaans community since the turn of democracy. The Bella Bill was signed into law in September. President Cyril Ramaphosa delayed the implementation of 2 clauses that speak to school admission and language policies to allow for further consultation.
Because people are angry, because the Bela Act is targeting Afrikaans schools specifically, and therefore it's targeting our children.
Basic Education Minister Siviwe Gwagube says provinces are already being, quote, primed on how to implement the Bela Act.
We've started to engage provinces and to essentially roll out workshops that the department has started to roll out so that provinces are ready and are primed to be able to implement provisions of the Bela Act.
The Gauteng Executive Council says it's asking national government to declare the rising cases of food-borne illnesses in the province a disaster. This follows a rise of food contamination cases involving children across the province. The latest incident occurred in Katlehong this week, where 110 learners from Tamaho Primary School were rushed to medical facilities after experiencing stomach cramps and vomiting shortly after eating samp at school during break time. 98 learners were discharged, while 12 others remain under medical supervision.
Members of the Executive Council and government officials will continue crisscrossing the province to engage residents on consumer education, food safety protocols and compliance. The public is urged to report any use, trade, marketing and manufacturing of illegal chemicals to the nearest police station.
Good news for Cape Town. The Cape Town Metro has expanded its My City bus service with new stops in Khayelitsha, Atlantis and Tableview. The new routes and 12 new stops are set to be operational from Saturday. Mako for Urban Mobility, Rob Quintus, has encouraged the public to use the city's Transport Information Centre, My City website, app and social media to make requests and suggestions relating to the service. And that's it from me and the rest of the team. Don't forget to download the EWN app.
Eyewitness News, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, log on to ewn.co.za or ewn.mobi.